First of all, nice to be back. I know last week we had a travel coming up, a little bit intensive, so we could not be part of that leadership call. But this week we are back home. It was a 2-day trip to Dubai. And from Canada to the Dubai, you should know there's one way, 13 hours trip. So that was really, really hectic, but it went good. And we are back now home and we're going to continue this week's leadership call. All right, I think we are ready to rock and roll. And this week, I want to present to you the big picture of Pop Max, Pop Social, and everything around our glorious ecosystem. All right, let me move on to the first slide. And we start by talking about Pop Social, which is the core of everything. Now, Pop Social is an AI-driven, reward-based Web3 version of TikTok plus Telegram, the social platform where engagement earns rewards. And this is why this has become so much more popular than anything else. And the reason is many, but Pop Social is a global creator economy engine powered by AI and built on Web3, bridging TikTok-style content with Telegram-style communities and aiming to build a decentralized traffic empire for everyone. And today, around 4.5 billion people use social platforms. They're spending an average of 2.5 hours every day. But how many are actually making money from it? That is not many people, I can tell you. Because we all know that TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and all these, they don't pay you anything to be there, right? But we're creating a lot of value to them. So Pop Social is about turn every voice into an asset and reconstruct the power structure of social media, which is, of course, powerful words. But how we do that, let me show you. First, let's talk about facts and statistics. I see that here I need to take away now. I hope this gets disturbed. All right, so facts and statistics. Let's talk about TikTok. All right. TikTok generated an estimated 23 billion revenue in 2024. And how they did that? Well, 77% of its revenue came from advertising, but 23% coming from TikTok shops. And that's astonishing 5.3 billion in revenue. And you have to remember, they charge 0.6% transaction fees and then still made 5.3 billion in revenue. TikTok shops has become very, very powerful. I mean, this is also many of the Asian version of similar, like Little Red Book and everything. They're using this style. People come online, they're selling any products live when people who can buy directly and the people sitting there presenting, it's live. They can do this for hours and hours every day and people love to shop it like this. As you can see, depending on all these transaction fees, this is the new way to do things. So TikTok shops is very popular. All right. TikTok shops is an e-commerce feature that officially launched only in September 2023. So it's not been going on too long and still so popular, and it can only keep growing and growing, become more and more popular. Now, the user base was 1.582 billion monthly active users on TikTok. You can imagine then that's a lot of people every month that come in and use TikTok. With that, and based on their turnover, you can calculate that the value per user is around $25 to $32. And that's okay when you have 1.5 billion monthly active users, right? But now we're talking millions, we're talking billions, but actually not many people can understand how much a billion actually is. So we do the normal thing here. Let's see there. What's the difference between 1 million versus 1 billion in seconds? I know some of you already heard this, but this is very good to get an idea how much money we're actually talking about here. But versus this, okay, 1 million seconds is equal to 11 days and 13 hours. Which is, of course, if you start counting now, I'll see you in 11 days to see if you're correct. But if you're taking 1 billion seconds, I will see you in 31 years and 250 days. That's the big difference between 1 million and 1 billion. It's actually amazing difference. So you can imagine then 23 billion is a lot of money in revenue. We can do the same thing, but we can do the difference in cash. And then you take this one picture. So 1 million looks like this, a small chunk on the floor, versus 1 billion where you have 8 pallets full of cash. Now you maybe understand the difference between 1 million and 1 billion. This was just to give this, because this is amazing numbers they have done. All right. And we also have another facts and statistics about Telegram. No, Telegram, they have estimated 1 billion revenue only in 2024. They made 69% of revenue from advertising, and the rest, 31%, coming from selling goods and services. So Telegram's user base is only 950 million monthly active users. Well, if you could do this value per user, I would not say it's fair, but we will give them like $1 per user valuation. But of course, they are worth much, much more as well. Now, all I'm talking about now, all this Telegram, TikTok, all others, they are what we call Web 2 companies, right? Web 2 is also known as the interactive social web, focused on user-generated content and usability. Fancy words, all right? But Web 3 is decentralization and blockchain, aims for users' ownership and control. The transition from Web 2 to Web 3 represents a shift towards a more user-centric, secure internet. Just to give you an understanding, if you're looking what is Web 2, Web 1, and Web 3, Web 1 was actually read-only. The only thing you can do was read online, for example, home pages or whatever. You cannot interact. Web 2 was the first where you can read and write. Now we are more and more into Web 3, which is read, write, and own, means ownership. And this is the most important. This is a new thing that is coming, that more and more people only want to go Web 3 because they want to have in control and have ownership. So this is the right thing to do all things right now. Moving on. Let's talk about Pop Social, our core platform. At the current stage, we have 500,000 registered users. We have a market value around 14 million that has been done for this Pop Social. That actually gives a value per user $80. A lot more than TikTok's 25 to 32, right? Why? Because of Web 3. Okay? And our revenue will come from advertising and pop stores, because we are exactly doing this the same as TikTok shops. We are going to do pop stores. What is pop store? Well, you and me can actually apply to get a pop store or a TikTok. You can go to TikTok shops. What you do is you create your own, how to say, your own products or own services, and then you market yourself on TikTok. And when people pay, they're using credit card, whatever, and then TikTok, in this case, charge a transaction fee of 0.6% for everything you're selling. That's how they make a big money right there. Now think about this. What do you think we will have in our pop stores? The transaction fees, and people can pay and use crypto. And mostly will use, of course, PPT. So you can understand when we're building up everything here, we have a lot of people doing pop stores. I mean, a lot of people will then start buying, selling, whatever products they have using PPT. This is very powerful. That creates so much economy around the whole thing. So this is actually a very, very interesting thing. Now, in Web3, per user value grows with more users. That's I always said, when we hit over 1 million, then the user value per user go up a lot and more and more and more. Especially if the tokenomics are well structured. Well, I can tell you this. Real revenue is flowing in from the ecosystem. I will show you. And users are active and contributing value. This is a different from Web 2, where value mostly flows to the platform owner. In Web 3, if the incentives are aligned, more users equals more value for each user. And in one way for all of us, that makes sense, because the one thing that connects us all is PPT, the Pop Social Token. Now, talking about real revenue, let's have a look at our dear ecosystem at Pop. We have, of course, our core platform, Pop Social, which is the ground foundation of everything. And then we also have our growth engine, which is PopMax. We also have our own financial hub, which is NX1, our crypto exchange. We have, of course, our core asset, which is Pop Social Token. We also have a metaverse integration through Punkverse. We have a future wealth generator through PopX that will be launched later this year. And of course, the backbone of the whole thing that will explode our growth is PopChain. And I will show you, and you maybe understand a little bit more later now in this presentation about why PopChain has so big value for us. Let's first go in and talk about Punkverse, okay? Now, Punkverse is a bridge between real-world trendy collectibles and Web3 digital assets. At this stage, it builds a highly engaged community through a combination of NFTs and offline experiences. In the future, it aims to become sustainable, monetizable, global creator empire by leveraging IP association, metaverse expansion, and tokenomics. Okay, if you're not native English speaker, I can understand this sounds very complex, but it is actually exactly as it says. Let me just show you a few things before I go in and talk more about this. First, at this current moment, we have 40 locations opened up in China already, and we are growing. There's a lot of more shops that come in this Punkverse. The first VR experience store opened outside of China is in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And that will be fully open and launched in June. So we are closing in there now. So what are these stores making money on? This is number one. How can this create an economy? Well, I can tell you, roughly 100,000 visitors per month goes into this location or the stores. Okay, and every time someone enters, you pay an entrance fee. Let's say roughly $100. That is what people usually. Sorry, $20. $20 entrance fee. And then you get the VR headset. You can go in there, play games. You can do different things inside there. It's a lot of things happening. Another thing is merchant store. You can think that, well, merchant store, who want to buy something there? I will tell you very soon how it looks like. And then, of course, we also have a cooperation with the city tourism support. In every city we go in, we contact the city tourism, and they then hire Punkverse to create an experience about their city, so people can come in there and say, "Wow, I want to go there and visit this," and so on. Same, there's a lot of local companies that also come. We also want to be in this metaverse. How can we do that? And then the Punkverse team build everything for them, and that is how they make money. But the biggest is entrance fee and the merchant store. Now, I'm going to show you a picture because yesterday I was in a shopping mall and this is what I saw. I said, oh, Popcore. What is this? Popcore Toronto. And you don't see it in this picture, but the queue is going a long, long way. And then I start looking inside. What is it they have there? And to my surprise, they have dolls. Okay? So, okay, you see a little bit young people, but you see here, over here, it's older and older, more people inside there. Everyone queuing to get in to buy these dolls. And then I started looking up and I found this one. It's online. This is called Mega Space Molly. You know, the price is 216 Canadian dollar for a small doll. Okay? 7 to 8 centimeters. You know, that's not big. But you know, this is so popular. You can see they have a lot of different collectibles, and people is queuing to get this because they just released a new one, you know? So I understand more and more now how this Punkverse become more and more popular because we also have different collectibles, let's say dolls and everything. And this is why people come there, they're buying and this crazy commodity around this. So this is very interesting. Now, another thing that we talked about before, I just want to show you right now, because first of all, Punkverse is the international name outside of China. Inside, we have a different name and so on and so on. You have all the locations here I showed you before, and they create their own games and so on. That's also why people come back, because they pay another $20 the day after, because they will continue to play with their friends, a bunch of people coming in, you know. This is how it works. And I told you, when this company reach a certain target on turnover, we will go public in Nasdaq. And we already have the ticker which is called PKCD, and the IPO will start next year. And this is just to give you the name on the listing company's Pancode International Group, PKCD. They will launch an IPO. It's still unknown here, but it will be next year, they have said, because the turnover coming now and more shops opening, they will reach the target, which is going to be very interesting and so on. So what is the link between us and Pancode in general? Well, number one, all things inside the stores will, of course, reflect back to Pop Social. So it's about creating awareness. And also, where every time the people buy or the entrance fee and so on, 25 to 30% of the turnover will go to buy up PPT on the market. So creating, generating more economy. Okay. So this is also very supportive in our ecosystem. Now, moving on and talk about next part is NX1. And this is also something I talked about the last time we had a call, but I still want to emphasize a lot of things here. The NX1 exchange is our own centralized exchange. All right. We have spot trading, futures, AI strategies, which is bot trading, copy trading, arbitrage, swap. Right now, we are in the pending mode because you can still, if you have an Android, you can download on Google Play Store and you can start trading today. If you have an iPhone at current stage, you can download it by using Test Pilot and then start trading from there. The thing is, we have a minor issue with the App Store because someone also, other company already listed there with the name NX1. So they asked us, okay, you change name. But if you have a license all over the world, it's not so easy just to change name. But they're working on it, and they hope that within soon they will be able to change the name and be approved in App Store. So then you have all the apps for both. And then when that happens, also the web version of NX1 also kicks in, desktop version, as they say. So that means you can choose to trade through apps on Android, Apple, or on your computer. Because sometimes, for me, example, trading on my phone is too small. I want to have a computer to see everything and I follow. So this is very important. Besides also the trading and everything, what NX1 also have is, of course, a launch pad, which have a key role in upcoming things. I will tell you soon. Also, we have our own airdrop platform called NX Nova, where people can apply or they can come with their own token and say, hey, we want to reach out to a lot of people, for example, who holds PPT. Then NX1 can then drop to all addresses that already holds PPT, will then get some kind of airdrop of other tokens. And of course, inside the app, they have a virtual crypto-linked payment card. So you can use your phone and pay for things when you're in the stores and so on and so on. And that means you have maybe PPT or you have any other crypto inside here, and to get linked to this card. Now, I showed you also this before, that we have, for example, licenses for United States, Singapore, Kazakhstan, European Union, EMI license, and Canada. So this is nothing new, but I come to one point which I understood today. I will tell you. If you go to the NX1 homepage, you will see in the front page how much turnover the last 24 hours of trading volume on NX1. Remember, one of their most popular thing is bot trading, AI strategies, and so on. There's a lot of people using a lot of funds in there. So the last 24 hours, for example, they have $4.4 billion turnover in their trading exchange. There's only 81,000 registered users, had nothing to do with PopMax or Pop Social. This is their own customer base, right? If you take in this turnover or trading volume, and then you see how much is the exchange making. They have something called maker and taker fee. The maker fee is 0.02% every time someone buy or sell. This is where they charge you. This someone money, in this case the exchange. The taker fee is 0.04. You can see here it's 0.0002 cent or 0.0004 cent here. The trading volume, we have the maker and taker fees. Then we do a calculation. Total fee for a trade is then 0.0002 plus 0.004. That becomes 0.0006. Now multiply that with the trading volume, and whoops, this profit was made by the exchange is 2.6 million. Okay, I take it again. This last 24 hours, the exchange earnings was 2.6 million. 2,689,200. Okay, the truth is this. They also have some people are earning, some people make commissions and so on. So it's not exactly the profit, but you understand how much an exchange makes now. And then we can look at, for example, I was looking into Binance today. They have 49 billion in the last 24 hours. Then you can understand how much they're also making, so on and so on. Now, so this is very interesting to understand that our companies in our ecosystem making good money, which always reflects back to Pop Social and our ecosystem. This is the whole point of this training. So you can understand this is varied, and like I said, this is not maybe profit in the pocket, if you say like that. They also have fees and everything they have to pay, etc., commissions. So, but just understanding. Look into the next part is their Pop Social token. And I've showed this before, but I think it still makes sense. We have a total supply of 200 million, but in the future supply, it will reduce down deflationary mechanism down to 100 million tokens. Currently, a circulating supply is 85 million. And if you take that towards our price, we have a market cap right now for $22 million. Not so big, not so small. It's just that how it is. It's the circulating supply towards the price we get the market cap, right? Okay. And then you can see today we have our exchanges. We have Bybit, Bitget, MEXC, Gate.io, and BingX. And we have the company's first target is to reach 1 billion market cap from 22 million to 1 billion. And from here to there, it's around an increase of 55 times or 5,455%. And the best way, of course, is to use staking as we have, because every day you get them paid, which you can withdraw every day if you want. And then you convert it into PPT. So you can do this smart. Either you get funds there growing in the yield pool, and then you can choose whatever you want to withdraw and then convert into PPT. So you're always part of this as well. Now, moving on, we talk about PopMax. I mean, the slides itself is very boring, but it's actually making very sense what PopMax is doing, to be honest. We are the growth engine, which is the most important part of the whole ecosystem. So we mattered, all right? The growth engine of Pop Social ecosystem is not just another staking platform. It's the core growth engine powering the Pop Social ecosystem. Designed with strategic intent, PopMax plays a critical role in 4 key areas. Number 1 is to supporting the ecosystem projects. PopMax provides early stage exposure, liquidity, and trading infrastructure for all projects within the Pop Social and Punkverse ecosystem. It acts as a launchpad and marketplace where ecosystem tokens and assets gain visibility and traction from day one. And like I said, we just got started now with PopMax. The future holds so much more for us. As PopMax, you're always on the early stage exposure. Okay? This could be very interesting for us in the future for many reasons. Number 2, optimizing token economics through intelligent design, including staking, buybacks, burns, and strategic listings. PopMax helps projects stabilize and grow token value. It ensures that tokens are not only traded, but are part of the broader utility loop that drives long-term sustainability and scarcity. And all makes sense in a way, the whole thing here. Promoting user participation. PopMax integrates incentives like airdrops, affiliate rewards, trading bonuses, and staking yields to increase engagement. You all know that that's the reason why we're sitting here, right? This market uses active participants rather than passive traders, or you can say traders or you can say stakers, but traders is more correct term, reinforcing both platform loyalty and token utility. Number 4, we're driving the ecosystem-wide growth by concentrating volume, liquidity, and community into one core hub. PopMax fuels the entire Pop Social economy, every transaction, every campaign, and every token launched through PopMax strengthens the network effect and creates upward momentum for all associated projects. You know, maybe this is not the right to say that PopMax is the one who is launching, but you understand Pop Social, PopMax is the one. And when I say that, what do we mean with this? This partly here. Are we going to launch more tokens ourselves? Well, who knows? But here's the thing, which I explained before, which I come into now, is to talk about the Pop chain. And Pop chain, which is our backbone, is the most attractive thing that will come for us in near future. We are launching our own blockchain we call mainnet, all right? And if you go in and see what we do when we're launching the Pop chain, what we put first on the chain is, of course, Pop Social. And from there, we're also putting in the Pop Social token that runs our own blockchain. Of course, currently we're running on BNB. And then, of course, we're adding on more, like NX1 suddenly also be part of the whole thing. And then PopMax, and then moving on to PopX will be on our chain. And then, of course, partially also Punkverse. Now, right now, the whole ecosystem is running our own blockchain. That's very good. But the power comes from the outside. It's not just internally that we are the only ones going to use the Pop chain. This means a lot of products in the future, companies, projects, whatever, they come and they say, okay, we want to be on Pop chain. How can I do this? Well, we have something good. First of all, we don't only have our own blockchain. We also have, through the NX1, the launch pad. Meaning if a company comes and say, how can I start my own token? We're using our own blockchain, we're launching your token to our launch pad, and then to get holders who holds your token, we're using the airdrop platform. Now, we can offer this to anyone because the power of owning your own blockchain, exchange, and launch infrastructure. That means it's full control of the digital economy, not just for your own product, but for the entire generation of future tokens and startups. For example, each project launched brings to the company listing fees, token liquidity, new users, trading volume, and cross-community exposure. Now, this is the power to have this. And of course, as a PPT holder, we all know what's happening, right? You're going to receive so many different tokens in the future. Some maybe not be so successful, but maybe some will be very successful. So this is the thing, but you have always the access to get the tokens for free, and then you can sell it on NX1 or anywhere else, right? But the most important thing is to create compounding growth across your ecosystem, and all of it is under our control because we control the chain, we have the exchange. So this is the whole new era. All right, and then we come to this part. When we are doing our own Pop chain in Q2 next year, that means our second target will then be around 5 billion market cap. And this is not just something they took a finger in the mouth and put in the air. No, this is based on how many people will get involved in our own blockchain and so on. The target, 5 billion, they say is very modest, but let's keep it. And that means from now to there, it's around 277 times the value, or 27,000%. So it's all depending how you look at it. So the own blockchain is a very powerful, because the reason is everyone using our chain means to have PPT in their wallet as transaction fees or gas fees. That's why we're spreading out. A lot of people will have PPT. Then we come to something more interesting for the future part, all right? The future holds so much more. We can have our own blockchain, we have the native token, we have our own exchange, and then payment gateways is on the way. This is nothing we have even spoke about the future, but this is already in the works at this current stage, just so you know. And that means our third target is set up for 10 billion market cap. I'm not going to go in and even talk about how many times X it is from now, but you can understand this is something that we are working for and it's coming. They are already working behind the scenes with all these kind of things. So this is just to give you the bigger picture on where we are going. All right. Right now, we are here. We can do what we do. We continue to do what we do, and this will come along, and we all going to be the winners. And also talk about winners. We have now the second token burn announced last week, I think. So we have the first time, I can't even remember the date now, like a month ago. And now this one is the second one. You can see the value here was 188. Now it was the $490,000 value. So you can understand the token burn reducing down from 200 million down to 100 million. So I think once a month, maybe they post out this until we reach 100 million. So it goes fast. As also, we have something upcoming, you know, the PopMax Korea Summit 2025. The registration is now open. The date of this is between June 4th. This is in Jeju Island, South Korea. And all of you who will not go there, of course, you need to speak to your upline if you qualify and so on. We all know that they have a staking option for $10,000 staking between 20th of April to 20th of May. Then you are qualified and get a free trip, meaning they pay for your flight, your hotel, and the event for 3 nights and 4 days. Could be very nice. So that is one thing. And you can go there by yourself, but you need to report it. And then you have to qualify, meaning you need to have a minimum 50,000 volume made between these 2 dates in your team. Then you go there, but you have to pay your own flight and hotel. But all of this has been posted in our groups. So you have to put the registration because the last day of registration is 22nd of May. So it's not too many days. And the qualification for the 10,000 and so on is to 20th. So if you haven't qualified yet, you have still 2 more days, I think. Or what is it, the day? Yeah, 2 more days. And then you have 2 more days to fill it out. But remember, first come, first serve. It could be sold out. So if you are in the last minute to make a decision, I'd say do it and come. I think this could be very good. Also, in order for you to go and get free trip and so on, you need to deposit 1,000 PPT, and this will be refunded back to you within 3 business days after the event. And this is just because they don't want to pay people to airfare and hotel, and then they don't no-show. So that's why they will charge you 1,000 PPT. But if you show up in the event, they will get it back to you. So more information in the group.